WWE Raw was disappointing, the best and worst of WWE Raw. A popular WWE star issues an apology after Raw. The date of Uncle Howdy's debut leaked. Cody Rhodes is now being represented by WWE's parent company. Jey Uso achieves major milestone surpassing Roman Reigns. Is Becky Lynch going to AEW? WWE makes massive changes to its Twitter profile after Liv Morgan kissed Dominik Mysterio. Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio moment drives up insane viewership. Vince McMahon unimpressed by Gunther. Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE Raw. With the 2024 King and Queen of the Ring premium live event in the rearview mirror, the latest episode of WWE Raw focused on the next premium live event. Clash at the Castle Scotland is in less than 3 weeks, with a few matches already being teased for the show. A lot happened, but not everything was great. This show did have some problems, particularly at the end. So, without further ado, let's get into the biggest positives and negatives from the latest episode of WWE Raw. Number 1. Worst. Is Drew losing? If the opening segment of WWE Raw is anything to go by, Drew McIntyre winning the World Heavyweight Championship does not seem like a dead cert anymore. The Scottish Warrior will challenge Damian Priest at the Clash at the Castle 2024 Premium Live event in his home country, a match he needs to win. However, confrontations with Braun Strowman and Gunther have seemingly indicated that the Archer of Infamy will defend his title against the two of them as well. That would mean Priest will possibly retain in Glasgow, Scotland, robbing McIntyre of his moment one more time. Hopefully, this is all a smokescreen to make the title change less predictable. Maybe the issues in the Judgment Day are too big a distraction for Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre has earned it after everything he has gone through in the past 4 years. It is too good a moment to pass up. Number 2. Best. Braun Breaker continues to be a problem. General Manager Adam Pearce is regretting his decision. He should have just let Braun Breaker stay on SmackDown instead of drafting him to WWE Raw. However, now that the second-generation star is here, he is becoming a bigger problem with each passing week. Despite being fined and suspended for his actions on last week's Raw, Breaker interrupted Ricochet's rematch against Ilya Dragunov. The Big Bad Booty nephew hit both men with a spear, and Pearce lost his mind. This budding feud between the two could turn the former NXT champion into a much bigger star. The moment Braun Breaker hits the Raw general manager with a spear out of his shoes will be one to remember. That is until somebody stands up to the former NXT champion. Number 3. Worst. All is not good in Damage CTRL. While the tension within the Judgment Day is compelling, another faction on WWE Raw is not in a good state currently. Following Kairi Sane's loss to Lyra Valkyria on the latest episode of The Red Brand, IYO Sky had a meltdown in her dressing room. She broke a lamp and stomped on a coffee table before storming out. In isolation, that was a cool visual. However, there is the fear that it is the beginning of the end for Damage CTRL. With so few female teams getting over right now, they need to stick together, especially after getting a new look by ousting Bayley. It remains to be seen what is next between IYO Sky, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai. Hopefully, this outburst was just a call to get serious with a renewed focus. We can't lose Damage CTRL. Number 4. Best. The build-up continues. Chad Gable is still an abusive leader, with his actions on WWE Raw getting even more heinous. After Otis lost to Bronson Reed on the latest episode of The Red Brand, the leader of Alpha Academy looked all set to give him lashes from his belt. Maxine Dupree stopped Gable and was made to leave the ring before Sami Zayn came out. He cut a heartfelt promo in a bid to get Otis to see the light. It will happen eventually, but not today. In the meantime, though, we will get another Intercontinental Championship match between Zayn and Chad Gable. That is a win for fans. The former Olympian must finally win the title, too, further building Otis's big babyface turn. Once that turn happens, the world will rejoice. Number 5. Best. Worst. A bonkers ending to WWE Raw. The world is talking about it. Liv Morgan locked lips with Dominik Mysterio. Rhea Ripley might be somewhere going crazy right now. This was a storyline-rich ending to the latest episode of WWE Raw, with a lot of possibilities going forward. Morgan is a heel while confirming Dirty Dom was helping her the entire time. Importantly, though, Dominik did not react to it. However, there were negatives. For starters, the broadcast of Raw in the United States of America ended before the kiss. Additionally, the events that preceded it were quite clunky. Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch had a solid steel cage match for the Women's World Championship before the Judgment Day's business cost the man the match. A popular WWE star issues an apology after Raw. WWE Raw was an intense show this week with multiple stories progressing. However, after the event, a star issued an apology. Over the last several weeks, the Alpha Academy has been in turmoil. Things have progressively gotten worse each week, with Gable making it a matter of routine for him to publicly humiliate his students. On the one side, he has verbally berated Akira Tazawa and Maxine, while on the other, he has also blamed Otis for his loss at King and Queen of the Ring. Things almost reached a climax during this week's Raw with him almost whipping Otis with a belt. While that didn't happen thanks to interference from Maxine and later Sami Zayn, things remained tense within the group. Tazawa was once again berated by Gable tonight on Raw for failing to be there in Saudi Arabia so that he could assist him in his match. While fans have been chanting for Otis and Tazawa to turn on the star and beat him down, something that is clearly coming at some point, it didn't happen on Raw. Instead, after Raw went off the air, Tazawa took to his social media and issued an apology to Chad Gable instead, insisting that he was sorry. Thanks to Chad Gable's actions on WWE Raw, things are as tense as they can be within the faction, and it was almost certain that Otis was close to turning and attacking Gable on the show. However, since it didn't happen, fans will have to be ready for when it does. It seems that every member of the faction has had enough of Gable constantly pushing them around. With Maxine already stepping up to protect Otis this week, it might not be too long before Gable finds himself alone. The date of Uncle Howdy's debut leaked. The latest QR code on Monday Night Raw may have given us the biggest hint yet in regard to the potential return debut of Uncle Howdy. Also, there was a big twist regarding the therapist who went missing. In case you forgot, the Fiend's therapist was reported missing for a while. The QR code led to a video showing that she was, in fact, fine. However, she seemed to be clearly brainwashed, stating that he let her free, likely implying Uncle Howdy. Not only this, but in the bottom corner of the page, the diary was once again shown. In that diary, there was an entry where the first letter of every sentence read, June 17th, or June 17th. This is the date of Raw after Clash at the Castle 2024. It's going to be interesting to see if anything happens on June 17th. The Clash at the Castle event will be getting all the attention in the coming weeks, so it makes sense for WWE to begin the story on Raw once the premium live event is over. There is a lot of hype surrounding the QR codes and Uncle Howdy, with WWE seemingly taking its time to let things play out. The series of QR codes have led to creepy content, and fans have enjoyed digging into the rabbit hole. Cody Rhodes is now being represented by WWE's parent company. WWE has chosen Cody Rhodes to be the current face of its new era, and business is said to be very good these days. Rhodes continues to find success in his comeback, and now he's making history for a very unique reason. The American Nightmare has pursued a non-wrestling entertainment career since at least 2010, as he's had several movie and TV projects. It was recently revealed that the undisputed WWE champion is set to star in the remake of The Naked Gun, while sources disclosed how he sees the role and how important it is. Rhodes has had a few notable Hollywood gigs in recent years, as Derek Sampson on 7 Arrow episodes, as a judge for Go Big Show on TBS, as himself on the TBS reality series Rhodes to the Top, along with others. The original announcement on the Naked Gun cast did not include an agent for Rhodes. However, a new report from PW Insider states that the second-generation superstar is being represented theatrically by one of the biggest agencies in Hollywood, WME, William Morris Endeavor. WME is also known as Endeavor, which acquired World Wrestling Entertainment in 2023 to merge with UFC into TKO Group Holdings. Backstage sources claimed Cody has been listed as working with WME for about 1 month. It was noted how this would make the 38-year-old the first talent under contract to WWE, while also effectively being represented in entertainment industry circles by his employer since the merger happened. WME also represents The Rock, Logan Paul, John Cena, and Ronda Rousey, but these relationships were already formed before the Endeavor takeover. Rhodes is also still signed as a client of the Prototype Talent Agency, according to the report. The owner, Brian Wittenstein, did referee work for WWE and TNA in the past, and his relationship with Rhodes goes back many years, as Wittenstein has represented Cody, Brandy Rhodes, and other wrestlers. World Wrestling Entertainment will present the SmackDown Fallout from King and Queen of the Ring this Friday night. The show is scheduled to air live from the MVP Arena in Albany, NY. Cody Rhodes is now confirmed to make an appearance on SmackDown this week. The WWE champion is coming off his victory over Logan Paul, and the company is teasing that we may find out what's next for the American Nightmare. Rhodes is expected to defend his championship during Clash at the Castle, Scotland on June 15th. Drew McIntyre versus World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest was already announced. Jey Uso achieves major milestone surpassing Roman Reigns. Jey Uso has achieved a major milestone ahead of tonight's edition of WWE Raw and has surpassed Roman Reigns. Main event. Jey competed in the King of the Ring tournament this year, but was eliminated by Gunther. Jey Uso departed the bloodline last year and battled Roman Reigns in a tribal combat match at SummerSlam 2023. However, Jimmy Uso betrayed his brother and helped Roman Reigns remain in charge of the bloodline. Jimmy Uso lost to Jey Uso last month at WrestleMania XL, and Solo Sikoa kicked him out of the group following the match. According to WrestleOps on X, Jey Uso has the top-selling t-shirt on WWE Shop. The head of the table ranks at number 2 on the list. Roman Reigns has not appeared on WWE television since his loss to Cody Rhodes in the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa has taken over as leader of the Bloodline during Reigns' hiatus. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa have also both joined the heel group on SmackDown in recent weeks. Is Becky Lynch going to AEW? Becky Lynch has spent over a decade in WWE. However, the man will reportedly become a free agent on June 1, 2024, when her contract with the Stamford-based company expires. A few weeks ago, Lynch confirmed that her current WWE deal was ending, disclosing that she had yet to sign a new one. While her husband, Seth Rollins, later renewed his contract, recent reports suggest the man has not done the same. Meanwhile, she dropped the Women's World Championship to Liv Morgan at the King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event this past weekend. The 37-year-old also failed to recapture the title last night on Raw. While fans are now speculating about Lynch's future, recently released WWE host Matt Camp addressed the possibility of her joining AEW. On his The Wrestling Matt Show podcast, the ex-Raw Talk host acknowledged that the former Women's World Champion could step away from wrestling to focus on being a mother and potentially having another child. However, he disclosed that he does not see the man jumping ship to AEW. "I don't think she's Becky Lynch going to AEW," he said. Following her loss to Liv Morgan last night on the Red Brand, Becky Lynch took to social media to post a photo of herself leaving the arena. She captioned it, "To be continued," seemingly confirming going on hiatus. Although nothing has been confirmed about the former Women's World Champion signing a new deal with the Stamford-based company, PW Torch has reported that WWE is confident they would reach an agreement with Lynch to renew her contract. Meanwhile, the 37-year-old will go on a break. Wrestling veteran Matt Morgan has also predicted that Lynch would re-sign with the Stamford-based company, claiming she has no reason not to do so. It would be interesting to see if his prediction will come true. WWE makes massive changes to its Twitter profile after Liv Morgan kissed Dominik Mysterio. WWE has made an update to its X Twitter handle after Liv Morgan kissed Dominik Mysterio on Raw tonight. The cover image now features the visual of Liv and Dirty Dom's kiss. WWE has been firing on all cylinders under the Triple H regime, especially when it comes to Dominik Mysterio's angle with Liv on Raw. Mysterio made a huge mistake at King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. He accidentally helped Liv defeat Becky Lynch and become the Women's World Champion. Tonight on the Red Brand, former NXT North American champion messed up once again, and Liv retained her title in a steel cage match. During the final moments of the show, Liv Morgan approached the Judgment Day member and kissed him in a massive shocker. Dominik looked dumbstruck after the kiss and was angrily staring at a smirking Morgan. Many fans believe Dominik has been secretly working with Liv Morgan ever since Rhea Ripley went on a hiatus. Not too long ago, the two stars were spotted leaving the same locker room on an episode of Raw. After what happened on tonight's show, it does seem likely that something might be going on between Liv and Dom behind the scenes. Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio moment drive up insane viewership. Liv Morgan has been the talk of the town lately, and her actions during the dramatic conclusion of the May 27th episode of Monday Night Raw set the internet ablaze with staggering viewership. The Liv Morgan Revenge Tour leader was slated to defend her WWE Women's World Championship against Becky Lynch in a steel cage match on Raw. Amidst the chaos that erupted during the closing moments, Braun Strowman, who was out chasing JD McDonough and Finn Balor, accidentally collided with Dominik Mysterio, propelling him towards the cage door. The door swung open, striking the man and incapacitating her. Seizing the opportunity, Liv Morgan escaped the cage to retain her title. However, the most shocking moment occurred after Raw went off the air. In an unexpected twist, Liv Morgan stunned everyone by kissing Dominik Mysterio. Adding to the intrigue, Liv Morgan even changed her banner image to photo of her and Dominik's kiss. Furthermore, in only 8 hours, the moment posted on WWE's official Instagram garnered more than an astonishing 12 million views. Moreover, the shocking ending has set the stage for an intriguing storyline in the weeks to come. So it will be interesting to see what Liv Morgan will do next after a moment with her supposed enemy, Dominik Mysterio. What are your thoughts on Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio's moment garnering huge viewership on social media? Vince McMahon unimpressed by Gunther. A former WWE head writer recently spoke about Gunther's awkward segment on Raw this week. The former writer in question, Vince Russo, felt that the segment dragged on for too long, and Vince McMahon would have cut it much earlier. The Ring General walked out on WWE Raw this week to celebrate his King of the Ring win. He claimed he was miles above every star on the roster. He went on to diss World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest for taking a shortcut and cashing in the Money in the Bank contract to win the title. During this week's episode of Legion of Raw, Russo mentioned that if this happened during the Vince McMahon regime, Gunther would have got a look from the boss. He also said that the star would have probably gotten feedback from the producer, telling him that the segment went on for far too long. Two things would happen. Number one, they would come through the curtain, and either Vince would say something, or they would get the Vince look where they know Vince isn't happy. Right on the other side of the curtain is whoever produced that segment. That was me many times. They would immediately come through some Vince on, Vince, how was it? And I would be, bro, I said this many times. You went too long, you lost them. And there was never an argument. After winning the King of the Ring tournament, Gunther is assured of a title opportunity at SummerSlam. However, current champion Damian Priest needs to first settle scores with Drew McIntyre at WWE Clash at the Castle. It will be interesting to see who remains champion by the time SummerSlam rolls by. So Raw was disappointing. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo recently spoke about this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Russo worked as the writer for the flagship show during the height of the Attitude Era. This week's edition of Raw featured all the fallout from WWE King and Queen of the Ring that emanated from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The show kicked off with Gunther celebrating his win at the Premium Live event, and also featured top stars such as Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, and many others. On a recent episode of Legion of Raw, Vince Russo said he was not happy with the show and claimed that it seemed like a maintenance episode on Memorial Day. He recalled back in the day when he was writing Raw, the creative team strived to bring out the best show despite any holidays or competition. Never, bro. Back then we had 2 hours of television on Monday night. We didn't care what day it was, what the competition was, what holiday it was. We had 2 hours and we were gonna make it the best 2 hours. This week's show featured a huge steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. The latter picked up the win and retained the Women's World Championship after some interference from Dominik Mysterio. It will be interesting to see what happens next week on WWE Raw as the company gears up for Clash at the Castle.